What's going on, beautiful people? Got to cut that mic on. I don't know if y'all heard that, but I think they played something. We gonna figure it. Yo, yesterday was wild. Whoever tapped in yesterday, y'all saw that. That shit was crazy. I don't think we're anywhere but YouTube. Oh, Twitch and Facebook. Right, we're everywhere. What's going on, beautiful people? Kasabian Lavoe here. Welcome back. If this is your first time watching, thank you. And if this is not your first time watching, y'all know what a fridge is. Let's go get a drink, get comfortable, and let's get to it. You know what time it is, right? Now, if you're listening at home and you want to be a part of the studio audience, head over to YouTube. That's where you guys communicate with us, and that's where we see your comments. Hold on, it sounds like it's really loud in here. I don't know. I think it's the fans because it's like humid again. We're dealing with the humidity again because of a cyclone bomb. But again, you're a part of the studio audience and we're recording this podcast, so you get to be a part of it and interact on YouTube and YouTube only. We're not interacting on Facebook and Twitch. And I think our days are dwindling. They're dwindling for real. And this is an ad to ask. Head over to klavoe.com. Check out all the new merch. Check out what we got. There's hats. There's hoodies. I feel like I'm crooked. But we have hats. We have hoodies. We have, was it mugs? We got mugs? Yeah, all right, we got mugs. We got mad stuff. They supposed to be adding some more stuff. And then we're going to be doing the one-off drops with the poofy stuff. Yeah. My face is all cut from shaving. I have no idea how I cut myself this high, but that's where we are today. But thank you for watching. Let's get into the show. There's really not too much to talk about, but Wednesday for sure will be chock full of more goodness. Like I said, it's been a hectic weekend. EDC took up a lot of hard drive in my head. But we'll get to it. There's good days in racing and there's bad days in racing. That was from the movie Ricky Bobby. And I always use that when I'm having a bad day. And it still sticks. But today was a good day. Solid. If you didn't listen to yesterday's show, that was an accidental show. That was Riding with Kasabian. That's our radio show that comes out on Saturdays. It dropped today because of some technical difficulties. But this was one of the songs that stood out and I fell in love with it. And if you can't hear it, it's because you're watching. If you want to hear it, head over to Apple Podcasts, take a listen. Head over to Spotify. That's where you can hear all the music as well. And Riding with Kasabian is an exclusive Spotify show. So make sure you head over there and check out what we got going over there. It's all types of new stuff everywhere. Everywhere. I feel crooked. I feel like the camera's too close today. Yeah. It's Kasabian. Kasabian Lavoe. What's going on, beautiful people? My name is Kasabian Lavoe. Welcome back to the Kasabian Lavoe Show, and I'll be your host with talent on loan from God. It just don't go. I'm gonna keep on saying it just don't go smooth until it goes smooth. But once it goes smooth, it's gonna be a whole problem. My tonsils are really swollen today, and I haven't really been able to like have a tea and relax. Let me tell you something. When I say I want to be respected like white people, I mean that shit, man. When motherfuckers listen to white people speak, they stop what they doing and they do it. It's like, respect what I'm doing. You know that when I say that type of shit, I really mean that, because if a fucking white person would tell you the shit I say, motherfuckers take it different. I'm not saying anybody specifically. I'm just saying in general, like, motherfuckers really respect what a white person says, but damn, if somebody of their own goddamn people say some shit, they don't listen, bro. And it's like, respect my time. Like, I ain't stopping for nobody. There's no stopping. Fuck that. Understand this gangster's real, man. We just sometimes gotta let that out there, y'all. This is episode 249. We are so behind in clips. We're catching up on clips. It was, I'm gonna take the blame like I did yesterday. I'll take the blame. Did y'all see the shit show that we had yesterday? Like, it was bad, yo. But we'll get into today's show. It's really not nothing much. I really want to talk about Kyrie Irving and what's going on with him and this whole vaccine thing. It's strange how far it's really going. Floyd Mayweather spoke out on it, and Floyd told some kid with painted nails to get out of his face, basically. And that was just kind of funny. Then he called him a homophobe, but, I mean, there was no basis on that. Whatever. There was a bomb cyclone, and what they called was like a sky river yesterday over the West Coast, and it caused massive flooding. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the caravan. The caravans are back. We talk about this every year. The caravans always come back. There's always somebody funding it. We never know who's coming, but they are coming, and we'll talk about that. There was a very sweet moment that I wanted, or lighthearted moment. It's about Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. And are we going to have to learn to wait? I really feel like waiting might be a thing that we're going to relearn, and it's going to be a culture shock. And then, for lack of better words, like when do we like stop pretending that the president isn't completely gone? Like, I didn't even want to write it in the damn breakdown today. He literally walked up to the microphone. He was like, "I cut taxes." First off, shout out to all the podcast listeners, the millions of podcast listeners. Thank y'all for listening. Make sure you head over to kasabianlavoe.com, and the viewers, we appreciate y'all. But he was like, "I cut taxes for the middle class. I cut taxes for all middle class." And he just started screaming about not cutting taxes for other people, and everybody just stood there and just watched him. And this is not the first time he's done this weird like whisper shit, and then he screams, and I think he's trying to like project, and he's trying to I believe he's trying to convey that he's like really passionate about this, and maybe his inflections aren't good, and maybe he missed that class. Like, there is an inflection class I'm sure you could take to learn how to convey your message better, but it definitely sounded very spooky. It was almost Halloweenish. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was there's just certain times and certain places for certain ways to speak, and it was honestly just a little strange to watch that shit, and nobody said nothing. But how come with Trump, he said some shit, and it was, oh my God, we got to impeach him because he's crazy. This motherfucker done fell asleep on TV. This motherfucker falls asleep everywhere he goes, and nobody bats an eye. But you know what? We're just going to let it rock. Shout out to Biden. He's doing a great job. Is it your body, your choice when it comes to men? When do we have a choice? Kyrie Irving, a healthy basketball player, doesn't want to take the vaccine, and it's causing a lot of controversy. The team doesn't want to let him play. I really didn't want to talk about it because we kind of spoke on it, and I feel like New York's rules in general are very exacerbated just because of the chaos. On the heels of learning that Puerto Rico has become the most vaccinated place in the United States, well, obviously all the cities that have a lot of tourism are going to be highly vaccinated. Like, Vegas was a hot spot. I'm sure Puerto Rico had a hot spot. It's Florida, Miami, Texas. You got all these places. My bad. I'm mixing up shit. But anyway, like all these tourist places where a lot of people are coming, you would imagine so that the population will be vaccinated because they don't want to get sick. Like, there's a lot of cooties and shit out there, and you don't want to catch all those cooties. But anyway, Puerto Rico comes out to be the most vaccinated, right? New York, on the other hand, comes out that it turns out that they're not even playing with nobody. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You cannot operate in New York City without being vaccinated. And Kyrie Irving just doesn't want to do it. He says he's healthy. He doesn't see the science. It doesn't make any sense to him. And I mean, a lot of people agree. If you see people protesting and shit, and it's just my body, my choice, right? Like, when is it my body, my choice? What are we supposed to do when things like this happen? Like, he is a healthy athlete. There's really no evidence that shows that healthy athletes can't defeat it, can't not defeat it. I don't know. I can't stop looking at that cut on my face, and I obviously didn't do any makeup. It's just like really sticking out. But if Floyd Mayweather comes out and speaks on your behalf, like saying that you did a good job, I think that we should honestly like sit back and consider maybe have open dialogue on this conversation. Like, it has to be had. We have to have real doctors come out and have this conversation in front of everybody and really, give legitimate facts that everybody can agree on. And I don't really know how that would happen at this point. I believe we're so divided that it's never going to come back. And that's okay. I don't think that it's going to be for too much longer. Like, eventually either we're going to figure out how to deal with this with vax or without a vax. They're making a medicine that you can take orally. So let's say the oral medicine comes out later on this year. That's where they're predicting it would be, was later on this year. Then does he need the vax? Can he come back? And just in case if anything happens, let's say he catches COVID and he can take that medicine and he's good. Then what? There's no rhyme or reason to it. And yesterday, the West Coast was hit with a bomb cyclone. I know it sounds a little more crazy than what it really was, but in reality, I think the description when they said it was they call it a sky river or some shit, that was like the dopest description of what happened yesterday. But let's talk about that. This came from AccuWeather, and I really don't read off of AccuWeather, but our weather's been a little off, and I had to cancel the car wash guy from coming, so let's talk about it. The last installment of a parade of storms barreling in the West Coast on Sunday unloaded more heavy rains that resulted in serious flooding and debris flowing across drought-stricken and wildfire-raved California, and even breaking some all-time 24-hour precipitation records. So if you don't live on the West Coast, you don't understand what happens when these fires hit us. The fires strip the ground, and the trees' roots hold the ground from shifting and moving. So when it rains, they absorb it. When the trees absorb the rain with their roots, and it keeps the ground from moving. When there's fires and the trees burn and they die, well, the roots don't work anymore. And what happens is that the water comes and it causes mudslides and all types of mess. We had a huge fire at Mount Charleston maybe 5 years ago now, maybe even longer. And like a week after the huge fire, we had a giant flood, and the flood actually did worse than what it would have done. And for anyone that was here when it happened, I mean, it's still terrible. Like that whole fucking side of the mountain is just bare and it's barely even growing back. But this is what was happening in California. There's millions and millions of acres, thousands and thousands of acres that are just fucking burnt and just gone to shit. And with all this rain, you would think it's a good thing, and it's not. There's never no happy medium. The storm was the last in a train of storms from the Pacific Ocean, along with an atmospheric river of moisture. I love that description. Atmospheric river of moisture. I've had an atmospheric river of moisture. Had been impacting areas from British Columbia, Canada, to parts of Southern California since the middle of last week. Downtown San Francisco recorded 4.02 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain, making it the wettest October day in the city. I'm sure there's been wetter days in San Francisco. A 24-hour rain record was shattered after Sacramento measured 5.44 inches of rain early Monday morning, topping the previous record of 5.28 inches that had stood since 1880. That's pretty amazing. That is pretty phenomenal. Also, if you're into sports, like I'm not, Brady threw his 600 touchdown football or some shit, right? The guy that caught it made the touchdown and then just gave it to one of the fans like they always do. And then they were like, oh my God, that's like the 600 football, give it back. And boy just gave it back without a fight. Somebody owes him some money. Like that dude deserves like lifetime tickets and whatever the fuck he ever wants from the team, because Brady, you definitely owe that dude. So the caravans. Actually, let's get into a lighthearted story. Vin Diesel got to walk Paul Walker's daughter this week down the aisle, and it was very beautiful and emotional, and they are truly, truly that close, and they are really family. So it was heartwarming to watch something like that. That is it's pretty awesome that you don't see that often. You don't see like real friends outside of work, so it's pretty cool that Vin Diesel did that for him. And there's a lot of us in this episode because it was short, so I'm trying to drag it out with fucking us. But that was dope. It was dope to see Vin Diesel out there. You know what I mean? He looked like a proud father. I know that wasn't his daughter, but I'm sure he loves her just as much. And it was just cute to watch. It sucks, dude, like losing a parent. I don't even know how to put myself in those shoes because I didn't have those. So it's like there was never no, oh my God, here's a phone call. Your parents were in a car accident, because I didn't have any parents. But whatever. Shout out to Vin Diesel for being a solid dude. We need more dudes. As a matter of fact, I wanted to talk about those dads that were in Louisiana, and everybody did over the weekend, so I decided to let it go. But shout out to those dads on duty. They're in Louisiana. They're doing a great job, and I've always, like I say on the show, I've always said it over and over and over, we need more dads. There's a lot of young men out here that did not have daddies, and it's very obvious y'all need daddies. It's just the way of life, man. You need a mama, you need a daddy. That's just how it goes. The caravans are coming back. If you don't know what the caravans are, every year they load up all these buses with magic gas and food and things of that nature, and they just kind of ship people up to the fucking border, and then we got to deal with them here at the border, where we have just a complete clusterfuck where we don't do anything well. The system never gets fixed. Everybody just pushes the buck and talks about what's going to happen in 10 to 20 years, and they talk about giving people just free amnesty that are already here and have yet to come up with one solid solution. Nothing. They have shit. 30, 40 years of this shit, and they cannot figure it out. But every year, somehow, some way, this magical caravan comes up, and this year, nonetheless, here comes the caravan. A little bit later than usual, but nonetheless, here is usually two. It's like one in like March and then one in August. So we're a little late, but nonetheless, here it's coming. So this one comes from Newsweek. And, you know, I've had this problem because I remember watching the little kids on the trains, and I cried watching babies that look like my babies on trains, just sitting on top of a fucking train to the United States. Like, that is such a cop-out, right? Instead of the parents doing it the right way, which, I mean, I understand. We can blame the parents, we can blame the United States. In all reality, our borders should be zipped up and closed until we figure out homelessness and we figure out the immigration issue within already. The whole DACA thing and the Dreamer thing is such a bullshit cop out. What they need to do, honestly, yes, is a sweeping. Here is your status, and get rid of all these weird, lingering, just prehistoric laws that really won't make any sense in fucking like 2 or 3 more years. Like, you have 40-year-old people that have been here their whole fucking lives illegal, and you've done nothing to help them. They come up with these bullshit plans like DACA just to fucking push the buck and to make people feel like they're gonna one day get their magical citizenship, but they're not. They don't do anything to help you. They don't want to help you. They don't know how to help you. If they wanted to, they would have solved this problem. But if we could solve one at a time. First, I say we take care of homelessness. I think that one's going to be the most difficult to understand because it's very nuanced in what's happening out there. Some of it is mental health. Some of it is, I believe most of it is mental health. Let's just be honest, and I think that's going to be very difficult and it's going to be time consuming. So maybe we can multitask as we always have. So let's multitask. Homelessness needs to be tackled. Then we have to tackle what we have here amongst our own people. A lot of people always go right to Spanish people. That's where I say fuck you for not knowing what's going on around you. It's not just Spanish people. Actually, our biggest issue is Asians, and that doesn't get spoken about. Not a big deal. I'm not here to point out what the issues really are. In all honesty, the system's broken and we haven't done shit to fix it. That's it. There's no questions that the system can be better, should be better, has every opportunity in the world to be something that could be modeled by, but it's not even a thing. Like, Australia doesn't let people in. Like, you have to be invited to these certain countries, and nobody bats an eye. Nobody says shit. People get brought up from fucking Central America, South America on a bus, get dropped off, and everybody's like, oh my God, you should let them in. What? Certain countries, you can't even come without being invited. You can't live there without being invited. So why should it be any different here? And the problem is the same people that say you should open the borders and let people here, they have fences, they close their doors, and they won't open their door and let immigrants live in their house. Like, it's not, you've seen this shit over and over. It's the same virtuoso bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. So let's just come up with laws that fix the problem and stop the fucking bullshit. It's not racist to say don't come to this country. We have closed our borders before. Just do your research. The borders have been closed before. It's not a bad thing. And when we did allow people, to come to this country, they were supposed to come with certain requirements. We wanted smart people that had educations that could do things with their hands and that could help this society grow. At this point in time, there's 300 million plus of us. We don't need to grow anymore. Not until we understand how to really govern ourselves. I think we're coming across a new age as well where we need to learn how to govern differently, because I don't think our government was built to run 300 million people. Especially not the way that we're doing it now. We need to be better localized, and we need to give maybe more attention to detail according to city, and stop really paying attention to what's going on everywhere. That's my views on it. Because immigration, I've seen it, it's been an issue my whole life. I'm Puerto Rican. We're American, and we get shit on by Mexicans because we get papers, and they're like, well, what the fuck? America stole Mexico. Cubans have to fucking fight sharks just to get here and claim political prisoners and get asylum through the Catholic churches just to be Americans, and they love this country more than fucking white people that I've seen in my life. You'd be amazed at how many Cubans have American flags and eagles and shit, and they love the United States because of the opportunity, the freedom, and just, the honest to God living that they can do here. Why does it get shit on so much? The same people that say we should let everybody in talk shit about this country, saying that this country is not worth a fuck. Why do we get shit on so much? Why, as a country, can't we figure out to just maybe stop blaming each other for the problems and just solve the fucking problems? Like, I really think that we have a country full of losers, and we're going to continue to be losers until the people get together and say, we don't want to be losers anymore. This shit is stupid as fuck. They trick you by saying you have to go to college. Like, that's still a thing. I love when people think that you can't be successful if you don't go to college. That's fucking stupid. There's nothing in college that I wouldn't say that you need in life that you can't get anywhere else for way cheaper. The one thing that college has that I think I can honestly say that I probably just don't know how to do it because I'm broken, because I'm from the ghetto, is networking. You have an amazing network when you go to college that you really couldn't get anywhere else. And that's something that I think is very valuable. Besides that, I mean, and if you don't know how to network, what the fuck does it matter? You could be in a room full of 5,000 people and not make one connect. But I love when people say you're an idiot if you don't go to college. Nah, that's not true. But our educational system is trash, so you're an idiot, period, because you're not learning much. They're teaching 40-year-old bullshit, 50-year-old, even 60-year-old curriculum, and it's not helping anything. These teachers are just so fucking lost in trying to make people all happy and nice and shit that they can't realize that your job is to teach kids how to just work. That's it. We need to define what school is. School is not for whatever the fuck they think it is today. School is to make you work. That's it. You go to school to learn how to be a productive person in society. Everything else is not. Tell me what else you go to school for. They're not giving you a great education, so you can't tell me it's for basic education. It's worse than that. The biggest change in our educational system was when they allowed Bill Gates to change it to the Common Core, and Common Core was more detrimental than fucking stealing books from kids. It never works. So let's get into the story about the caravans. This story comes from Newsweek. Caravans of thousands of migrants break past Mexican National Guards during journey north. So Mexico, because of Trump, had to put in some type of blockage or blockade to help, because these barricades or these caravans keep on coming from Mexico's southern border. They don't protect the same issues we have at our southern borders. Mexico's having at theirs. So we have to work with each other, and Trump was able to initiate something with Mexico. We were able to assist each other and really stop the bullshit. A caravan of 3,000 to 4,000 migrants of Haitian, Central Americans, and South Americans left Tapachula, Mexico, I'm sure I said that wrong, on Saturday morning for Mexico City, with some of them planning to continue towards the U.S.-Mexico border, according to the website Border Reports. During the trek, the caravan ran up against the roadblock of Mexican National Guard officials brandishing riot shields. Video shared on social media showed caravan members running towards the guards and easily breaking through the barriers. Newsweek reported last week that the caravan had planned to move on Saturday after migrants found themselves, it's not moving, waiting in Tapachula. Where the fuck is Tapachula? I've never been to Tapachula, to receive permits that would allow them to travel beyond the city in particular. He commended, I guess they're speaking about the guys in charge down there. He commended the United States for its role in handling migrants at its southern border. They're just in denial of their own fault. They haven't been able to handle immigration. Damn, what the fuck is wrong with me? They're in denial of their own fault. They haven't been able to handle immigration, he said. If I told you the truth, I believe at least with Trump, we knew where we stood. With Biden, we don't know. He doesn't seem to have a clue on what to do with immigration, because he says one thing and does another. Approximately 1.7 million people have been encountered at the southern border over the course of the 2021 fiscal year. The fiscal year ends in August. So as of August, 1.7 million people. They flood the border, bro. Once they saw that Biden was in charge, they fled the border. And it's unfortunate for the kids that are involved. It's unfortunate for the families that are involved. Those fucking countries that don't take care of their people, that get welfare from the United States. You know, a lot of us don't understand why these countries are even so bold enough to send their people. It's because we feed them money. And we've done this for many, many years. And I know you don't like what Trump did, but hey, some mean tweets and taking money away from Ecuador was a really good thing. I mean, our kids are suffering still. We are getting further and further behind. I'm terrified for my grandkids. I'm terrified for what my kids have to deal with. And you know what? We got to rob the Cold Crush. Bro, we got to rob them for what they did to the Cold Crush. We cannot allow our children and our generations of people to continue to just lie victim to this shitty system. It's just a shitty system. It really is. Like, it's not going to work. Capitalism works great. If you paid attention to what capitalism is just the trade of goods, right? So you're basically, most people are just going to trade their time for money. So how do you find your value in your time, and how do you make that become a lucrative career? I guess that would be the proper way to say it, which is hard because there's always going to be more people than rich people. That's another challenge I've been coming across. The more that I study, the more that I look into economics and money and what's going on in society today. There's always going to be more poor people than rich. But how can we, I guess, make life worth it? It doesn't make any sense if money, like rent keeps going up, food keeps going up, but income doesn't go up. And yes, it doesn't go up. And a lot of companies have been able to use minimum wage as a safeguard, and inflation is going to go crazy. In the past year, we've printed 35% of all of our money. Only 15% of Americans make $100,000 a year. So stop being fooled by all these Instagram people. They don't make any money. There's only 15%, and 2% of that is people of color. 2%. If you make 100,000 a year, you're a multimillionaire, or you're a millionaire. You'll become a multimillionaire with your assets, but with 110, 120,000, you're a millionaire. After 3 years, you'll be a millionaire. But if only 15% of the country's making that, I live in Vegas. Our average median income per person is 32,000 per couple. It's 52 or 54,000. I'm sure it's gone down tremendously. How? How do we continue? You know, when does service become service? Like, you hear people talk about wait times. Ooh, we got to wait again. Do we have to learn how to wait again? I think we do. There's no other way around it. If we don't wait and we don't understand how to adjust to this new economy that's coming, when people feel like they're being abused and not taken care of, hey, $5 might as well be pennies today. Sorry. So your $12 an hour don't mean shit. When gas is $4 a gallon and it costs $40 to $50 to fill your tank, and that shit don't last but a day and a half, there's people out there that make $250 a week and they're spending $50 to $60 in gas. Let that sink in. If you make $300 a week and $100 of that shit goes into gas, you have $200 to spend. Like, the numbers don't change. It's so hard to wrap my mind around this, and it's very difficult, especially when, you know, as a realtor, I'm in this field and I see what's happening. People are getting priced out. People are losing homes. Inspections are coming back and appraisals aren't reaching what we want. You got to see more cash. California buyers aren't coming in Nevada anymore, so the numbers are starting to skew downwards. You're seeing price cuts all across the country. I just lost the deal due to a foreclosure. I had just I've never had a passive aggressive client, and literally my last client, I really debating over even being a listing agent anymore. I think that moving forward, my firm and myself, or at least for me, I think I'm just going into buying properties and flipping them, and I will hire realtors to deal with things like this, or just have my assistants, because it was crazy to lose a deal in such a lucrative market. It sucks because it sucked all the way around for everybody, but I can't do it. I see too many opportunities right now in rentals, and I believe that regulation and home buying is coming. So buy up as many properties, buy up as much land. Hey, there ain't gonna be no more land, but don't go buying land in the middle of the fucking desert. Buy land where it's gonna be lucrative. You know, pay attention to roadways. Find out where build paths are before you go buying a piece of land. If you buy 30 million acres in the middle of nowhere for $10,000, it's worth dick. I know an acre down the block from my house is worth $30 million. Actually, $56 million for 1 acre. It's off the Las Vegas Strip. It's in the way of traffic. I mean, that's the type of shit you want to buy. Now, 80 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, you could have bought a piece of land off of Blue Diamond for $10,000, and now that's worth $13 or $14 million. You can ask a sweet old lady that I was speaking to in my office that just sold her corner for $22 million, and she bought it for $10,000 back in like 1991. It finally paid off. That's all for her grandkids. Buy land. That's my advice for today. My name is Kasabian Lavoe. Well, my name is Kasabian. Live in the moment. Don't live in the past. Be safe. Stay dangerous. Lavoe loves you. Wah. I gotta get better at ending the show. Deuces. Wah.